Good morning, Desert Sands Unified School District. This is Sean Webb. I'm the Director of Community Engagement as well as the Director of the Desert Sands Educational Foundation. Thank you for joining us for our 12th episode of Classroom Conversations, where we engage the Desert Sands Unified School District community. We got a real special lineup today going on. I'll flat out say I'm playing with some new toys. Since I'm back in the office, I get to play around with some things here. But got a special lineup. We're going to go over our social media updates here with Chef Mary. I want to talk a little bit about Going the Distance 2, which was last night, where I know over 300 of you were tuning in live, as well as I saw this morning that we have over 500 views of that video, and we'll talk a little bit more about that with Chef Mary. And then we got some elementary counselor time, and then it's time to meet Stefan. Who is Stefan? You guys will find out who I've been working with over the last 10 days on a special project. So let's go ahead and bring Chef Mary on with us. Good morning, Chef Mary. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm great. How are you, Sean?
I'm fantastic. You know what? Had a great couple of days. Finished up a project. Got to hand it in to our friends at KESQ. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But had a great couple of days. How about yourself?
Great. I'm back in Big Bear. I got my car back on the road. A big shout out to Benny, who is the air conditioning guy that worked 5 hours after a full day of work. Got my car running. I have 40-degree air conditioning in the car.
Well, that's definitely needed any time of year, right?
Exactly.
Especially during the day.
So It's nice up here. It was nice to get home and sleep in my own bed and get his things done. I'm going to the resort today for a couple hours to fine-tune some projects that we're working on. Otherwise than that, life is really good. That's like,
okay,
I'm great.
Excellent. That's great to hear. So I do want to share with you some of the things that we've been doing since I last saw you and since you've been making your trek from San Diego to Big Bear and so forth. So last night we had a thing called Going the Distance 2 with Desert Sands. And we did this with the Ed Services team. Mr. Kent, who's the Director of Professional Development, and his complete staff went over everything that you need to know about working from home for students and so forth with distance learning. And with that being said, I just brought us to the website here, and this is available on the Desert Sands website. So I'm going to kind of move out here so people can see how I got here. But by going to the website, you're going to go ahead and click this big button here. It's real simple. Online resources, distance learning. And this will give you ideas. This was session 1 where we had information about what to expect during distance learning. And that video is there as well as the presentation slides. As well as if you click on session 2, it'll take you right to our seminar, which we had last night.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of great details being shared out on our website. A lot of great information being shared out by our teams. And the best part is, Mary, I'll tell you, we have a new feature that I want to show on our link here. At the bottom here, we have this bit.ly. Do you know what a bit.ly is?
I do not know that.
Okay, so that's, if you type that in letter for letter, case sensitive with the dots and the slashes, it'll take you to a form. And that form is being monitored by our Ed Services team, okay? And I'm also gonna flash that up on the screen here so people can do that as well, all right? So if you go to that form, you can submit questions and people on our Ed Services team are there to answer them. And if we can't answer them immediately, what we're gonna do is we're gonna research, we're gonna find out some answers, and then we're gonna present it in this format. And we're planning on doing this more of like an every other week type thing. Initially, we thought we were gonna do it every Thursday, but who are we kidding? You're gonna get sick of seeing me so much every Thursday, so you don't wanna see me twice. But no, that is another thing, another option that we have for our families.
So how do they find this? They have to go on the district site to get to that link?
Yep, you can go to the district website, or real simple, that bit.ly/distanceq. If you put that in exactly that way, it'll take you right to the form where you can submit questions where we're going to try and find some answers for you.
So they can put that right in their browser in the top?
Exactly. Put it right in the browser, right in the top. Yeah, it's that simple. But as I said, we had Going the Distance going last night. I do want to talk about our Twitter feed that we've got going on. Some great things going on here. We shared information about building the foundation. I want to kind of highlight this picture here. This is where we have building the foundation. We're going to talk a little bit more about this with Stefan later, but this is on the 29th. These are all the restaurants, 7 different restaurants at, let's see here, 9 different spots in the desert where you can go and eat on Saturday anytime after 4 o'clock until close, and 10% is going to come back to the foundation. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good part.
Yeah, definitely. And then this was a cute picture that one of our staff members posted and we reposted. One of our, this was on the Desert Sands Twitter feed. And then we also have other things going on here. But I guess my point is here with showing the social media, Mary, is that it's very important to stay connected. It's very important to follow us. And I'm going to flash that information. Well, you can see that right there. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and on our Facebook. But, you know, Mary, I want to get to the meat of our conversation today. You know, the first visitor we have has been near and dear to me. When I started as an administrator 15 years ago at Page Middle School, I like to say that I've been Carol Bailey trained. And when we hired, and Desert Sands hired Mr. Bailey, our superintendent, and the first time I saw those two together, I was like, it all comes together now. I understand. I see what's going on. So I can see her laughing in the background. We're going to bring her on camera with us. With us today, we have Carol Bailey. Carol, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you both.
Oh, it's great to see you. So, you know, I gave a brief little intro of who you are and so forth. Why don't you share what you've been doing since the last time we worked together?
All right. Well, you know, I'm the counselor at Dr. Carreon Academy in Indio. And the picture you just shared with the young lady with kind, that's one of my students.
Oh.
Yesterday, I was teaching kindness, and she took it a step further and made the letters in the word kind and sent us that picture and then posted it. I'm so excited when I saw you put that up there. I'm like, yeah, that's my student.
Well, please know that it was featured on our Twitter account.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Well, today I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One of the first things is I'm very involved with a community group called the Palm Springs Gay Men's Chorus. And a lot of people will say, well, what is a straight woman doing involved with the Palm Springs Gay Men's Chorus? And I'll tell you, they do a whole lot of community outreach about anti-bullying. And anti-bullying is so important in our community. So I got involved with them because they're very involved with the community and community outreach. And I sit on their board of directors right now. But they have over 100 members of talented, caring men who have a real connection to the community. And they're not able to sing live right now because of everything going on. So we have a community outreach chair, Bill Butler, who does a great job, and I'm the board liaison. So this year we decided that we actually started the year by making masks for Eisenhower Medical Center. So we did do that. We sent them thousands of masks that we made that they had asked for. But our big thing is our community outreach this time in the beginning of the year was for supplies for kids, for students. And here's why. We realized that most kids have supplies when they come to school, and that's not a problem. But there's going to be a lot of families out there that are just worrying about putting food on the table. And their ability to be able to have those supplies, pencil, paper, crayons, glue sticks, scissors, those things they don't necessarily have at home. Or if they do, they're trying to share them. So we decided we would choose a school in each of the different school districts. And I chose those schools because, of course, I'm involved with schools. But I tried to choose schools that had some real socioeconomic hardships for their student population. So,
I want to interrupt because I can tell that one of your schools was Las Palmitas, and I was actually on the staff at the Las Palmitas, the K-12 complex out there when they opened up. So I can attest, yes, those families are definitely needing and very accepting of all these things that you guys got. That's awesome that you guys went to all the different districts. Yeah, we tried to. We did Bubbling Wells Elementary in Desert Hot Springs, and like you said, Las Palmitas. I happen to know the principal over there. So it's kind of cool. And in our district, we chose Van Buren Elementary, and you'll see a picture there with the counselor and the principal. And then the man in blue is our artistic director and myself. And we delivered over $800 worth of school supplies to each of those schools. And not only that, we actually gave them a check for over $500 in addition to that to purchase other supplies that they may need.
Wow, that is awesome.
That is absolutely fantastic. And you know what? As I look at this picture, I look at it a little bit closer. I can't really tell immediately with the mask, but there's also Maria Salazar, who we worked with together at Page Middle School as well. It's love that I love to see all of the people that I've worked with are doing amazing things for the schools and amazing things for the community. That's
Yeah,
outstanding.
it's really great. And our organization has also been very involved with another outreach program for our GSAs, the Gay Straight Alliances, at all the middle schools and high schools in all 3 districts. In our district, every middle school and high school has applied for and received $500 grants a year from our organization to support their clubs and really support the anti-bullying for our community out there. And so we've given over $20,000 to the community in supporting those kinds of things.
That is fantastic what you guys have done. So I'm kind of curious, maybe you have a better answer for me. I'm kind of curious, like every year I've worked with Tori St. John with the GSA LGBTQ prom. Obviously that didn't happen this year. Are they doing things in place virtually?
Yeah, they're reaching out to those that have identified and trying to make sure that we're supporting them. And so yeah, we're reaching out. We're still going to have events, but of course they're going to be virtual. And but that's okay, because any kind of support that we can give the GLBTQ community is going to be important, especially when it comes to students, because sometimes they feel very isolated, even more so now in this world of distance learning and everything. So we have to really reach out even more so at this time.
Most definitely. So I want to go ahead and say that some of our viewers are commenting and so forth. I want to mention here, you could see this. You have Ms. Bailey. You are amazing. You got to love that one. I'm not sure if that's a former student or a family that you've worked with and so forth, but I wanted to make sure to highlight that. And then I've got a special guest that's going to join us on camera here. I'm just going to have her pop on screen. Hello, Mrs. Norton. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Fantastic. Why don't you just briefly tell us who you are and why you came to join us this morning?
Sure. I'm Tiffany Norton. I'm the principal at Dr. Carreon Academy, and I have the absolute privilege of working with Miss Bailey. She is our school counselor. And I just wanted to pop on to surprise her today and let her know how much she's appreciated and how much we really do know what she does for our students. So Carol, thank you so much for everything that you do for our staff and our students and our families.
Thank you so much. And I am so privileged that I have such a great leader at our school that supports counseling with kids. So I appreciate you a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Mrs. Norton, you and I have something very in common now. You've been Bailey trained as well.
That's right. That's right. And it's funny, Sean, when you said when we hired Mr. Bailey and Miss Bailey that you saw it all come together.
The master plan.
Yep, I see it.
It was really funny because some people thought that I was Mr. Bailey's wife. And I'm like, no. We share a last name. So it was quite funny when he first came.
That's too funny. Well, Mrs. Norton, I know you got a very busy day, and I know you wanted to pop in real fast. Any last message you want to say to your families that may be watching?
Sure. I hope that this first week of school has been successful. And just know that if you need anything, we are here for you. Call the office, stop in. We're open 12 to 4, and we'd be happy to help. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Carol, and Chef Mary. It's nice to see you.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Norton. Exactly.
Thank you, Mrs. Norton. So, Carol, I text her this morning. I sent her a quick email. It's like, hey, do you want to join on real quick? And she said, I would love to.
Oh, she's a great administrator, so that's very helpful. And I want to talk about elementary counseling.
Please do.
Because, we're part of a big community of counselors. We have counselors at every high school, middle school, and elementary in our district. And I have to say, we're fortunate to have a school board and district that supports elementary counselors at every school, because that's not always the case across the state. So we're really appreciative of the board and the district being supportive of that. So basically, elementary counselors work in prevention. I was a middle school counselor. I did my training for high school at Indio High School years and years ago, but my heart is in elementary because we do a lot of prevention. So that's really important. And we try to, and we're so lucky at Dr. Carreon because we have of course I'm biased, outstanding teachers and classified staff, and we have the most outstanding parents and kids. I just love them. And so currently what we're really doing right now is providing social emotional lessons to our students, because as you know, many of them have experienced trauma due to all the pandemic things that are going down. So making sure that we can support them emotionally is very important. So at my school, once a week, I teach every grade level. I was teaching yesterday, which is why we have a picture of the student. And I was teaching about kindness and how can they show kindness even though they're at home. So it's really important. So we're reaching out to our parents because we're supporting them because it's a very stressful time for parents. And, you know, they're very stressed. Some of them are trying to work. Some of them have multiple children. It's just really hard for them. So we try to support them, you know, in being there for them in this distance learning. So, and then we're working to reach out to students who have not logged on or we haven't seen them come into their classroom yet.
Okay.
And so one of the things I try to do is try to reach out to those families, find out what's going on, why are they not logging on, what can I do to help, how can I support them? And, you know, you find out a lot of different reasons. Some of them are very legitimate. I have a student, we had a student that's going through a health issue and can't get on right now, but we wouldn't have known that. So we try to do that. And that's a big thing that we do.
Yeah.
As counselors also, we listen and take referrals from our teachers and not just teachers, but anybody that the student may have interaction with. They can send me an email. I know with all the other elementary counselors, it's the same. And we can reach out and try to talk to them about what it is that they need help with. So you try to be there for just students, but also you have to be there for those families, those parents, those guardians. So really, really important.
I saw firsthand when I was in San Diego this past week with my family and a fifth grader, trying to decide how to get a lunch packed and if it's too hot, how to keep it cold, you know, what they're going to eat, who's going to pick them up, who's going to carpool, who's going to be around. It was a lot of orchestration that, I mean, I was even pretty much flustered thinking, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine if you had several children. We were only dealing with one, but, you know, making sure they have all the proper equipment and the mask on and they know all the rules and regulations. And it's a lot. It's a lot for a parent. And I saw that firsthand. And so I'm glad that you are looking into that area because I think it's a lot more overwhelming than I think we realize unless you're actually in that house when it goes on. But another thing I wanted to comment on was your choral group. I happened to live in a neighborhood where a lot of the men were on that group, and I knew them well, and their enthusiasm about their involvement in the neighborhood was overwhelming. A lot of them walked in the morning, and we'd hear them out there singing and talking about what they were doing, and it's truly an incredible group of kind-hearted human beings that really work toward the neighborhood. So I know those guys well, and they're just really fun. So I'm glad you're with them.
Oh, I love it. Love it. I was their president one year, and so it was really exciting. And their current president is working in our district at Lincoln School, David Sanchez. So it's kind of interesting that it comes full circle.
That is interesting how it always comes full circle like that. So right. Chef Mary, I want to tell you, if you follow Carol on Facebook, she posted the other day that she had a Zoom, and I actually thought it was a small amount. You only had 300 people there, Carol, because, and I say that, Mary, you don't know the background here. So when we were at Page Middle School, Carol every month would have a full day of classes where every student came and saw her throughout the day. And it was the Word of the Month assembly. So where she's talking about, what was it, kindness that you were talking about yesterday, Carol?
Yes.
And she had 300 there. I say that's a small number because she used to see, I want to say 1,300 students were at Page Middle School when we were there together. And she would see all 1,300 talk about that all throughout the day. And you could hear a pin drop in that room when Carol would speak. And it's just the way that she has with the students and the stories that she can put with them, and she can relate with them well. So Carol, I commend you for all that you do for Desert Sands and what you're doing for Dr. Carreon. I'm jealous that you're not at every school.
You're so funny. I want to reach out one last thing before I go, and that is I just want parents out there to know that the district itself has some great resources. I know you clicked on going there. And one of the things that when you go to the district website, you can click on parent resources. So you go to parent, and there you go. you're going to see lots and abundance of resources for parents. You know, they have community resources, mental health resources, social emotional wellness. So the bottom line is that there are a lot of support and help out there, not only from your individual school counselors, but the district as well. So we're trying to provide as much support as we can, because we know, it's like I tell the kids, even when Mr. Webb was talking about, Sean was talking about middle school, not only are we supporting absolutely the highest level of academic success for kids, we also know they need to be good people. And that has a lot to do with character, has a lot to do with the social emotional support that we can give our kids and how important it is. In the same way with those elementary counselors, we have tons of resources, food banks, housing assistance, rental assistance. We can get you where you need to go to help you. So I can tell you, every elementary counselor out there has all kinds of resources. So check with them at your school and know that they're there to support you along with the district.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And I just want to show real quick, it's really simple to get to. If you're on our DSUSD website, let me just go to it real quick and I'll show everybody. But if you're on our DSUSD website, as this pops up, it's real simple. You just scroll right down and it says social emotional wellness right here. You just click on that and every resource that Mrs. Bailey was talking about is all located right here. And it's that simple to get to. So dsusd.us, and you're able to find it there. But Carol, once again, thank you for taking the time to joining us. Thank you for your organization's donation to Van Buren School and the area schools. It's just absolutely fantastic what you guys have done for us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Carol.
It's good to see you guys.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Have a good one.
Good job, Sean. Look at, you did well with that training.
Oh, thanks. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
So, Mary, we've got some great things going on in Desert Sands. Like I said, we got a full morning. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on screen. Stefan Pajovic, he is a student at Palm Desert High School, and I'll let him introduce himself, okay?
Great.
Hey,
Hello.
Stefan, how you doing this morning?
Good. How are you doing?
So, you know, I had this big thing on there, Meet Stefan. So who is Stefan? Why don't you give us a brief introduction?
So I'm a recent Palm Desert High School graduate, attending College of the Desert now, and I've been an intern with the district for about half a year now. So just doing a lot of fun stuff, and the latest thing that we've been doing is that KESQ special you talked about, which has been quite an experience to work on.
Yeah. Yeah, and when you say quite the experience, I think about a total of 9 days we started from start to finish, where we had filming, editing, production, and obviously I'm not doing that all in the right order. And then I physically gave it to them the other day. Yeah,
that sounds about right. About 9 days. It was an extensive project.
Yeah.
We'd go out and film, I remember, and then we'd get back and edit and keep doing that.
Yeah, you did an absolutely amazing job with it. And I can't wait. We're going to show the promos for that too. And I want to tell you, Stefan, we have some visitors that I didn't tell you they're going to be joining us. And I'm going to bring them on screen here. And they just have a couple of things they want to say to you and so forth. You work directly with this person. Microphone is on mute. Mary, how you doing? I see Jan in the background there too. How you doing?
Hey,
Hello.
Stefan, how are you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. I haven't seen you in days
I know.
since our project there that Sean's been talking about. It really was intense. We spent a lot of days at Palm Desert recording, and of course you did all of the remotes as well. So I'm anxious for people to see both the spots and the show itself. But I do want to just make note that Stefan was an intern, or the intern, with us during the past year, thanks to a grant from Riverside County Office of Education that allowed us to bring in 2 interns, paid interns. And I asked the 2 schools with film programs to recommend a student, and Mr. Martin at Palm Desert said that Stefan was the one. So Jan and I went to Palm Desert and interviewed him. and immediately that he was our guy. So he has been part of our team now for almost a year, and we are so going to miss him. But we're trying to talk him into volunteering while he's at COD.
We do have board member spots available on the foundation board, Stefan, if you're interested. Please.
Then they make you do a lot of work for free, Stefan. We know.
But Stefan, I also want to tell you we've got another visitor. I know he's got a small amount of time, but I want to bring him on screen here. We've got Mr. Bailey who wants to join us.
My
How you doing,
goodness.
Mr. Bailey?
Good morning, Mr. Bailey.
Good morning. How are you?
Everyone. I'm excellent, thank you. Good morning, Stefan.
So, Mr. Bailey, can you maybe share about some of the projects that Stefan worked on with you directly this year? I know there's some stuff that is kind of in the vault that hasn't been released yet, but maybe you could share.
Yeah, well, Stefan is, he's an awesome asset to the district, also to the communications team led by Mary Perry. He's worked on pretty much every project I could think of to some extent or not. And I know that I've had some very early morning and late night conversations with him on email about some of these projects. So I know he's put in a lot of hours, and it's sincerely appreciated. I think one of the highlights, at least for me, is the Not So Undercover Soup series. Yes, that one's in the vault. We're awaiting post-pandemic, if you will, before we bring it out of the vault. But most recently, he helped us with that project over at Palm Desert High School largely. And I won't put any spoilers out because we're anxiously awaiting it coming out of that vault. But Stefan, I just want to thank you. You have such a great spirit, creative spirit. Appreciate your parents and their support as well. Just got a really good thing going on. And speaking of that, I just signed off. I was doing a presentation to the California Desert Association of Realtors. And Sean, they were asking about Saturday night's event, so we were able to advertise that.
Awesome. That's
Awesome.
Stefan's going to be part of that process, that project as well. And certainly he comes from a family of realtors, so small connection there. But
look at that! Look at that! While you're speaking, Mr. Bailey, somebody very close in your office put a comment up, and I want to make sure that Stefan sees this. This is from Blanche. Stefan, congratulations on the excellent work you've accomplished.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well deserved. We're all big fans, Stefan. You'll do well, and hope you'll remember us when you're extremely successful and invite us to your premieres.
I will, no doubt about it. And I gotta say, my parents and I are big fans as well. I mean, I remember when I got the offer for the internship, and I was, jumping in there, and I showed them, and they were jumping in there. So they've been really gung ho about it from minute one. So I'm just really grateful for all the opportunities and experience, and just you guys are all so wonderful. I feel really at home here. So.
Thank you. You represent the district well, and I wish you much success.
Excellent. Well, Mr. Bailey, I know you're extremely busy. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Goodbye to Mary and Stefan.
You got it. Have a good one. So, Mary Perry and Chef Mary, like I was saying before, meet Stefan. He kind of has the name to be a movie producer, movie something, right?
He does. Yes.
Yes. And just, he's promised me, because he and I have really become a team. We script write together. We discuss shots together. We argue about creative differences together. He's promised me that when he's in Hollywood, I will become part of his team and I will have a place on the crew, right?
Yes.
Get it in writing. Get it in writing.
I won't do stunts, but anything else, I'm there for you.
Okay, so Stefan, I love that you're guaranteeing Mary Perry a potential job and career. What I would love is for when you make it big to possibly, come back for that Aztec Film Academy to be named the Stefan Aztec Film Academy. That would be pretty cool. Wouldn't that be a dream someday? That would be pretty cool. Definitely.
Yeah, Stefan, what's really cool? When I went to La Quinta High School as a culinary instructor, I was very honored that they trusted me with the program. And I feel that way with you, is to have them invite you into that family and then trust you with the program. It was quite an honor. Even to this day, I look back at it and I just go, it was a huge responsibility. I was terrified a lot of times, with under the gun and making it work and whatever. But I'm glad that they chose you. I think it's very heartwarming. And thank you, Sean and Mary Perry. for seeing those potentials in all of us and dragging us in. It's awesome.
Well, I'm glad you're part of us. And Stefan, I want to make sure that you're aware. Got some more comments coming up. This is from somebody else you work closely in the superintendent's office with, Adriana. A nice comment about you, about working with you and being very professional and so forth. Then we also have our board president who chiming in, saying you do a great job in representing Desert Sands. And you know what? This is crazy. We just saw her on the screen with us, and now here she is. She's watching us live. Thank you, Carol. Thank you very much. So, Stefan, what I'd love to do is I'm going to bring up the promos that you've created, and I'm going to have us watch them live here. So let me get them up here.
Awesome.
And this one here is the first promo that he created.
The Desert Sands Educational Foundation's commitment to our children.
Go figure, we're going to have a rendering issue, right, Stefan?
Always happens.
Yeah, let me pause that. We'll play again. And I'm even hardwired in. You'd think I wouldn't have this issue.
Welcome to the world of film.
Desert Sands Educational Foundation's commitment to our children can be found in their fundraising efforts. Join KESQ for Building the Foundation on Saturday, August 29th at 6:30 p.m. and learn about the events that raise money to supplement classroom budgets. We may not be able to hold some of the events this year, but next year it will be even bigger. But fundraising continues. Tune in to see some of the programs supported by Desert Sands Educational Foundation. That's Saturday, August 29th at 6:30 p.m.
So that's one of the promos that he did, Mary. What'd you think of that?
That is awesome. That is awesome.
And I think you probably recognize the voice in that too.
Did I recognize the voice?
Yeah, did you recognize the voice in the video?
No. I was busy watching. I was busy watching, not listening.
Okay, so that's Mary's voice. That's Mary's voice in the video.
Oh, it's Mary's voice. Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Okay, I'll remember that, Mary.
Yeah. So on top of that, we also had Stefan make a second one, Mary. So I wanted to share the reason why for that is we've got some amazing community partners. And one, we have, as I said, 7 restaurants offering 9 different spots. They're going to offer discounts and so forth. So here's the other promotion that we're running as well. Let me put this up on the screen. And we actually started running this last night, Stefan, on our social media.
Oh, awesome.
Watch KESQ on Saturday, August 29th at 6:30 p.m. to learn more about their commitment to the children of our community and make it a dinner and a show evening. The following restaurants are contributing 10% of their proceeds to Desert Sands Educational Foundation. Celebrate the students of Desert Sands schools and enjoy a great desert dinner. Restaurant offers are from 4 p.m. on Saturday until close. Building the Foundation by Desert Sands Educational Foundation airs Saturday, August 29th at 6:30 p.m.
Stefan, I'm just amazed with your talents, man. That's just absolutely fantastic.
Thank you. I mean, it's my pleasure to just help out, apply my skills where I can.
Maybe if you can give everybody an idea, that's a 30-second spot there. And I'll flat out tell you, Mary, it was funny, Stefan said, yeah, that'll take about 10 minutes to do. Whatever. How long does something like that take if you were to start for finish?
All production aside, the editing process, and it boils down a lot also to what program you're using, how familiar you are with it. After days of working with Final Cut, working back at home with Premiere Pro, that was a little awkward at first, but that took me a good, maybe, I want to say like an hour or two. I'm a perfectionist, so each one probably took me like a bit of time. And there's always, there's like a little issue that will pop up. I know I sent you one draft that it was perfect in the timeline, and when I exported it, I had assumed nothing of the type would have happened, but one of the titles was glitched out and it looked really ugly, so I had to go back and render it. And the rendering process, opening the editor and everything, a lot of it's just kind of like waiting for things to load. So it's like sometimes you know what you really want to do, but the tiny edits just take up so much time to kind of implement. So it varies on what you're doing, how many graphics and stuff. So I have a hard time answering that question with like a concrete, like, you can expect this. I know I expected that to be done in 10 minutes, but I was very wrong about that.
And Sean, I just want to point out that, we fulfilled the grant, and then we still have this project. And so Stefan has been working as a volunteer for Desert Sands Educational Foundation. So his many, many, many hours in doing this. And like Scott said, I get emails from Stefan at like 1 a.m. So we know when he's actually working. And so thank you, Stefan. On behalf of the foundation, we could not have done this without your volunteer hours. So thank you so much.
And I as the director, I definitely got to say that as well. Thank you for all your time and effort that you did for the foundation. And as I said, I hope that when you make it big in Hollywood, that you come back someday and we can use the Stefan name on one of our buildings via the foundation. I think that'd be
embarrassed.
Well, Sean and Mary, you guys both create a platform that makes us want to volunteer. I volunteered for years before I was hired by the school on the culinary program. And I think you create that atmosphere that we want to be a part of it, even if we're not paid. It's important, and you make us feel like family. We meet new people. We've met Stefan for the first time. So I think you need to take a lot of credit for those people that want to volunteer, that you create a place for us to come to volunteer. Because I think I've always promoted being a volunteer. It's important to do that for the community, and especially for this group. And I'm still part of the family, because after I left, I was like severed at the
back in. We bring you back in. So Stefan, be aware, I do have your phone number. I will be shooting you texts. I know that you're up late at night, so I'll be doing the same thing for asking for project ideas and consulting and so forth.
I've finally learned how to use Google Scheduled Send. So if you get an email from me at 8 in the morning on the dot, it wasn't sent at 8 in the morning.
Jan has been sitting in the background, and now she wants to add to the conversation.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you, Stefan, how proud I am of you personally, and it's been a pleasure working with you. You're just, this bright, shining, representative of a really, really awesome generation, and we're all just so proud of you, and it's been great working with you. So keep that smile and that hard work going. And I know how long those files take to render, so it's that added time that you don't expect. Sure, 10 minutes turns into an hour. Very I know that well.
And it's been a pleasure working with you. I remember when I started working in the physical office before all this craziness began, I was working primarily with Jan, and we were working on the website and everything. And I mean, working with all of you has just been such a great experience, and I look forward to staying involved. And
great.
That's great. Thanks again.
Well, Stefan, like I said, you have my email address. We're always looking for Desert Sands Educational Foundation board members. We're always looking for that young, hip point of view. So if you want to be a board member, you can send me an email just saying you want to. And you already know one board member that's a big fan of yours. So you just let us know. Didn't mean to put the pressure on you there. Stefan, I know that with your late nights of editing and so forth, this is an early morning for you. Thank you very much for joining us. This will be available on our YouTube page for the foundation, the Facebook Desert Sands page, and also the foundation Twitter page for your family to watch later and so forth. But Stefan, thank you very much. You have a great one.
It's been a pleasure. You too. Thank you.
Stefan.
Hey, Mary and Jan, thank you for joining us. Chef Mary and I are going to go over some of the new things we got going on, like our new shirts and so forth. I'm going to talk about the online store. But thank you for coming on and wishing Stefan, hello and so forth. We'll see you later.
Bye, Mary. Bye, Jan.
Oh, there you go. So, Mary, some great things going on with some of our graduates. You never got to really meet many Palm Desert students.
No, I mean, the only time we were over there is when we did a luncheon a long, long time ago. I was wondering, was he part of the film crew that used to come into the school and film the culinary, or was it just our school? Because we had a film crew that came in.
So we definitely had some film crews come in for Mr. Martin before. I'm not sure. I don't recognize Stefan as him coming into the kitchen yet, and he's nodding his head no. But we definitely had some other students come over there and film some of the showdowns and some of the footage and so forth. I want to say they did a piece on Tim Bradley when we did that. That was really cool by them as well. But no, they've been a great partner of, Aztec Films has been a great partner of the Desert Sands Unified School District, the foundation, and who they did a lot of work with was the Palm Desert Chamber of Commerce as well. They're a good partner there. Yeah, so I know that they've definitely connected with them. And Mr. Martin, he's from the industry. He worked directly at KMIR for years, and prior to that, he was in Nashville doing the same type of thing. So he is well hip, and he's very knowledgeable about this stuff. Most definitely. But Mary, I want to share. So I've been working on the website, this foundation website. And I wanted to pull it up here, where we have our mission and our vision statement, and we've been talking about the August 29th event. That's right here. But I've never really played with websites before. I've never developed one. I've never edited one. So I'm kind of having fun with it. I've added some current pictures of what's going on. But the real cool thing I want to point out is we now have our very own online store. We're working with our friends over at Luna Inc. They are partners of Desert Sands Educational Foundation, and they are supplying our online store where you can buy anything Desert Sands Unified School District logoed material. So you got shirts here, you got polos, you got jackets, you got messenger bags, you got a backpack. This backpack is pretty cool. The logo is actually going to be the full circles there. We're still working with it and so forth. But now I just want to share, this is where everybody can go to get Desert Sands gear and so forth. And the cool thing, Mary, we'll talk offline, but I'm going to get your size and so forth. But I'm taking care of you. I'm going to grab you a shirt. But we also have masks. We have black and white masks. Eventually I'll be selling those out of the foundation will be selling those out of the superintendent's office. So employees can come by to pick those up and so forth. But like I was saying, it's really cool. A percentage out of every sale comes right back to the foundation as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Very cool stuff. But I've taken some time to develop this over the last couple of days. We have, as any foundation would, we have opportunities to donate. I want to talk about the mini grant program that we have. I've highlighted and updated this. I didn't realize how many, I've only been with the foundation for 1 year and I've done some research. I didn't realize that we've given almost $100,000 in grants in our existence. That's pretty awesome. Yes. With last year alone, we did about 53,000. And that was carried out by, we put that out in a press release too. So that was pretty cool. But no, just alone in 2019-20, we gave out grants for STEAM, and that was over $20,000. So STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Yes, I remember that.
Yep. And then CAMFest, directly, if you work with them, they've gave out another $20,000. So just amazing with all the things and all the programs that we have with the foundation going out.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So do you have any other updates for us about schools, openings, classrooms, meals? Are they still doing lunch meals?
Yep, so they're still doing the lunch meals and so forth, and that can be accessible on our district website. Let me go ahead and get off that screen here. But that can be accessible on our district website. They're doing on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
The time frames are on the website and so forth. The different schools have different programs. Very exciting. We just qualified a bunch more of our schools where the entire school now gets free and reduced lunch. That's based on federal numbers and federal government numbers that we have to submit for based on free and reduced lunch. Based on schools opening, no, we're still, we're waiting. We're waiting for information. That information came down from the government, then comes down to the county, and then our school board will then make some decisions. But all of those things that people need to be aware of, those are negotiated too with our bargaining units. So with our classified unit as well as our certificated unit. So
on your food program, is it still are they doing a morning before school lunch, and then are they doing after school? Or just
so the food programs, from what I understand, they're 7:30 to 10, where you can go in the morning and the family can pick it up. And they ask if you can to have the student ID. They do have to physically check off that information. Yeah. Cool. But lastly, I just want to go over one more thing on the website that we have. Let me pull it up here real quick. On the website, we have, I'd be silly if I didn't share. We have the sponsor or donate section. But what we're doing special for this event coming up, Mary, is this is kind of cool. The first time ever, and the foundation was able to find some funds to set up a text to donate. So if people wanted to, they could text DSEF to that phone number there, and it'll prompt you if you want to make donations to the foundation. Oh, okay. Yeah, and then it's pretty cool. The software is pretty cool. It'll then automatically shoot back an email with a receipt, tax ID number, all that jazz. So we got that going on there too. But there's many opportunities to help out, support some of our many programs that we have for Desert Sands Educational Foundation.
That is incredible. Well, Sean, I know the work that's involved in doing a website, because I'll share when in the late 80s, I went to Julian, opened a B&B, and one of our members of the community was a big computer guy, and we had the first website, and he developed it, and it was very, I mean, eventually the curve passed us and we were no longer able to stay afloat. But having that website and the work that's involved in it is incredible. Oh, yeah. And the exposure that we got from having that website was, and we couldn't even begin to understand, how much exposure it was going to be. So I know the amount of work it is, and the tricky things and slow computers and having things load up and whatever. That I appreciate that effort, because I think we worked on ours for about 7 months before we actually got it up.
Well, we have an amazing communications team, and Jan had started the page, Jan Diaz, who was just on with us earlier. And luckily, I was just able to go in and do some edits. But I'd never done things like that before. And it was a little nerve-wracking, because as soon as I make that change and hit save, boom.
I know.
So my mistakes could be on the internet immediately, which I've done on this format with us too. But Mary, we are coming up on close to 9:50 here. I do want to kind of wrap up, but I'll catch up with you backstage here in a second, okay?
Okay, cool.
Okay. But as you can see, we had a fun-filled morning. We caught up with Carol Bailey, counselor over at Dr. Carreon Elementary School, talked about the great things that we have available for elementary students, as well as students through our counseling, as well as our student support services. We met Stefan. You guys got to meet Stefan, our editor, producer, creative director of our most recent we're going to have Building the Foundation on KESQ on Saturday, and it was everything Stefan. It was amazing. All I did was kind of come up with some concept and ideas, and we filmed it, and he put it together. So you got to meet him, and then you got to find out everything great going on with the new foundation website. And make sure, go ahead and visit our online store where you can get one of our polos. You can pick up hats. You can pick up all different types of things. But you'll see us again on Tuesday at Classroom Conversations. We'll be on the road. I'll give some clues. We're going to go visit the place that creates these for us, and we're going to be on the road there and do the show live from there. But I've got a special edition. We're going to have a show tomorrow night, real short edition. We're going to talk about a little bit more about the August 29th event, Building the Foundation. I have some of the performers coming on with me tomorrow. I have confirmed Grady James. I have confirmed some of the board members for Desert Sands Educational Foundation. And we're going to talk a little bit just about why it's important to have the arts in education and highlight some of the great restaurants that are participating with us. So if you can, catch us tomorrow. We'll be on, and we'll be on again on Tuesday. All right, you guys have a good one, and be well.